Welcome to Dwarven Forge Live. This is Wildlands Survival Guide episode, what episode is it? 10, 12, 11?
12, 13.
13. Lucky number 13. And do you know why it's lucky number 13? Because we have a very special guest tonight. Who's our special guest? Do you want to introduce yourself, special guest? Hey!
Sure. Hi. I'll pronounce my last name. Don't worry about it. It's Joe Manganiello. Hi. How are you, Nate? What's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, Joe. I'm like I was saying before. I feel like I'm riding a nightmare. I set a bucking bronco on fire, and you're like, that's clearly a nightmare, but a good nightmare.
Yes.
Yeah, the horse. I'm doing great, man. We're
guy.
having a good time, and I'm really excited to hang out with you and talk about all the wonderful geeky things that we love.
Awesome. I love an opportunity to talk about geeky things that I love. You are responsible for a lot of the geeky things that I love, and I tell you that every time I see you. But congratulations on the new Kickstarter. It's one that we've all been waiting for a long time. We can build our own waterfall now.
Yeah, modularly. And you know what? I think we're gonna have to make more waterfalls because everybody's like freaking out about it. So we'll. We'll have to see what it goes. Before we start hitting you with the hardball questions, we have some updates. I think. Do we have any updates?
We do have updates.
See, I'm very prepared. You see, Joe.
One of the biggest points that we have for today is actually we do have a social media giveaway going on. It is $150 in Pledge Manager credit that one lucky person could win. All you have to do is share one of the tweets, Facebook posts, Instagram posts with the hashtag Wild4DF. That's WILDFORDF. But that's 150 in pledge credit, which comes after the Kickstarter wraps up.
Woo-hoo. And the whole point of this is to get the word out, right? Because there's people out there that don't know about Dwarven Forge and don't know about Wildlands. You gotta spread the word, like because there's somebody's gonna be really sad if they miss out on this. There's they're out there, so spread it.
Yes. Yeah. You don't know about Dwarven Forge. Man, you are missing out. It has changed the game. You changed the game.
There's a dwarf-sized hole in your heart if you don't. If your game hasn't been changed.
Underneath an unsharpened rock, maybe, but.
Really, this is a humanitarian effort.
It is. We're humanitarians.
Yes.
Do we have any other news?
We have some upcoming streams also. Tomorrow we have. At 1 p.m. instead of our normal 7 p.m. Eastern time, we have Russ from Steamforge on the Wildlands Survival Guide. And then Monday we have a detail painting stream so that we can showcase some of our detailed paints. And we have another stream going on Tuesday that is a build stream with Nate. That's also at 1 p.m. And then we have Stefan, our founder, is having a game on Tuesday night at 7 p.m.
It's going to be wacky. He told me the plot. And hard to imagine Stefan's going to run like a zany, crazy game. It's going to be, he's pushing the envelope on this one. The other cool thing we just announced is Dwarven Light Puck. If we hit 3 million, which it's looking like we will, we're going to put the Dwarven Light Puck in Titan's Tooth Glade and in the Wyverstone Peak. So if you've got Wildlands Untamed like Joe, you're going to get 2 of these things. And we'll have to show you this. Have you seen this thing in action yet, dude?
I saw like a post of it, but you show me because I use all of these gadgets in my games. So what do you do with this thing?
Do you want to talk about stuff first, or do you want to look at this first, or do we do both? What do you?
Well, now I want to
look
at that thing first.
Okay.
Well, yeah, let's look at that. I mean, I'm going to be dying here the whole time.
I can't show you the knife and then not use it. All right, so.
Yeah, this is first rule of theater.
Theater. The second rule of theater is make sure your light puck is charged. Oh, no.
Do you want me to grab the cord?
Yeah, get the power cord. Well, I guess the gods.
So we're talking first.
Yeah, it's a Deus Ex Machina. The god lowers down. It's like, no puck for you, and out. And
we'll just try.
Wow, you've clearly studied ancient Greek theater.
You know what I did? I took the Robert McKee story seminar. Did you ever do that thing?
No, the story like screenwriting seminar.
Yeah.
No, but I went to drama school, so I got all of that. You see, this is the Baby Yoda.
Oh my God! Outrageous.
She sits on my lap most of the day.
She's out of control. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, so the McKee seminar is amazing. It's like, did you see Adaptation?
Sure.
Remember, he's caricatured in Adaptation by I think Albert Finney, I think, and he's yelling at Nicolas Cage for like, don't you ever use voiceover if you call yourself, all this stuff. And he's basically, that's Robert McKee is basically like that, and just for like 3 days straight, just like yells at you about all these really awesome things, and it's like life-changingly, mind-blowingly awesome. And he has a whole thing about Deus Ex Machina. And,
that's cool. Yeah, I have the book on my shelf,
Story.
and I've read it from time to time. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool. I didn't know you took screenwriting classes. I'm learning all kinds of new things.
I'm a film kid. I like all of a story is like, this is why we're here, right? To tell stories, and be it a D&D game or a film or I don't know, whatever. What other stories do people tell? Just D&D and film.
Whatever it is, yeah. Yeah.
So we're gonna charge up the puck for a sec, and in the meantime, I got lots I'm so excited to talk about it. So, the word on the street. I was talking to Kyle. He said you're since pandemic has set in, you've been like escalating your D&D games, and you're running like 2 6-hour games a week. Is that an exaggeration, or is that true?
Well, no, it was true for a little while. So when COVID hit and we all went into quarantine, it was a bit like summer vacation in a way. It was like, like an extended snow day.
Production stopped.
Everything stopped, and all of us. And so the group then came to me and said, instead of 1 day a week, could you run 2 days a week? Could you up it to 2? I said, well, that's a lot of prep. I said, but I got nothing else going on, so why not? So I did. So I was running 2 days a week for a while until we got to this point, beginning of the summer, where we all had to come to the conclusion that this wasn't summer vacation. It wasn't something that was going to end anytime soon. There was going to be a new normal. And even a year from now, we might not have the answers that we're hoping for. So I now need to spend my time, I can't spend all of my time running this game for my friends. And I actually had a lot of work to do that was piling up, and there's a bunch of acting stuff and producing stuff that had to happen. And so, I had to go to work, and I had to start actually figuring out, what I was going to be doing while we were on a work stoppage.
How do you evolve into this new normal?
Yeah.
So the prep is my question. Like, how do you prep 2 6-hour sessions a week? Like, I can't even, like, that blows out my mind. Can't even comprehend that. Like, how do you, like, how much time is that prepping? How do you prep? Like, what? It's a marathon, mental marathon. What do you do?
Well, I guess I prep by chapter by chapter, right? So you get to know the insides and outs of a chapter. So example, like, let's look at Empire Strikes Back, okay? So I know that the story is going to open, and we're going to be on the ice planet, and the rebels are there on the ice planet. Okay, so what's on this ice planet? So then I figure, okay, well, there are, you kind of figure out the mechanics. This is the base that they're in. There are these monsters that live in ice caves called wampas that sometimes freeze people upside down before they eat them. There are these things they ride on. There are these vehicles they can use, and then, here's what the Empire is doing. So what pieces do I want the Empire to have? What are they going to use on their attack of the base? And I have a rough kind of idea that there might be some side quests, some adventuring, some things going on, because it's a sandbox and my players should be allowed to go anywhere they want, do whatever they want. So I need to prepare for that. So I need to flesh out the world enough and the terrain and kind of my own map in my brain, and then get to know my monsters that I'm going to use, learn how they fight, think how they would think. And then I write, who are the NPCs they could meet if they went this way or that way. I write speeches. So, one of the characters might, meet their father or speak to the general, whoever it is. And I have those speeches ready just in case. whatever the high-ranking officers are there, whoever's within the space, and then you let them do what they're going to do, knowing that kind of the end game is going to be this titanic battle between the two of them over this base, which they might win or they might lose.
So you
and
have
depending on which.
So you have no Dagobah. You're just like, I'm going to focus on Hoth, kind of have Hoth figured out, and then sort of see how that goes. Because you don't want to write too far ahead because you don't know what's going to happen on Hoth.
But I
Right.
know there's a Dagobah. I know
Right.
that that's going to happen. And in my brain, I even know there's going to be a Cloud City, maybe, or I have this idea that I want to do this thing in Cloud City way down the line. But for right now, let me plan out and flesh out Hoth as much as I can. And if I prep that all right, or it's big enough and there's enough to do, that could last me 4 weeks.
Got it.
So we spend 4 weeks. So it's kind of the initial chapter bump is what's tricky. I have to get over that initial bump because I need to prep all this stuff. But then once we get into the first session, they've gotten through a fraction of all that I've worked on. And also, depending on what they're doing, I then get inspired and get ideas of where the story could go from there. So I just start building. I kind of have all this stuff prepared, and I just start taking tools or pieces out of that pile and start building the tracks as they move along.
And how long does that take you to build out Hoth? Like, how long is that? A day? Is that an hour? Is that a week? Is that
It's usually a couple of days. Because there's a brainstorming process, and what really would help me a lot when we were meeting together was I would break out all the Dwarven Forge, and I'd throw on some old Metallica, like Ride the Lightning, and I just go down into my basement or my dungeon, and I would just start messing around, or I'd start making a build, and I go, no, that's not right, and then I'd sleep on it, wake up the next day and know exactly how to and that would help me tell the story. So I'd kind of build terrain or have an idea in mind, and
so I'm not the only one
instinct in me that knows what I'm gonna.
I'm not the only one that falls asleep thinking about Dwarven Forge builds. Is that what you're saying?
No, I have that kind of obsessive mind, and yes, that I.
So have you ever read Sly Flourish's Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master?
That's a really cool website that was recommended to me by a friend of mine a while ago.
It's so many good prep. I love his prep techniques. I use a lot of that stuff myself because I don't know. I never seem to have enough time. I guess nobody ever has enough time to prep as much as you'd like, and I don't know. I was trying to figure out how do other people do this? Am I the only one that feels frantically trying to shove everything together?
But it's the same thing with directing or directing a documentary where you don't know what the ending is or you don't have a script. So there's a bit of it where you just have to prep right, or is the script ready to shoot? For me, there's just a gut instinct where you're ready or you're not. Or as a performer, it's if you're ready to go to work the next day or not.
Yeah.
A lot of times with dungeon mastering, you're never going to be ready or as ready as you want to be.
No.
You just have to put, prep, have everything ready, know where it all is, and in your notebooks. And, when I'm sitting there in my DM chair, it looks like the cockpit of a plane. It's I've got books and papers and things taped and Post-it notes and all this stuff all over the place. And I just need to know where it all is.
Is it analog?
So that I can just.
Is it all analog notes
for
or
me?
Is it computers?
For me, very much. But I use the electronic devices a lot. I'll have my iPad open to D&D Beyond. Because I can pull up any monster in the game.
Boom.
I can just click on it, and then it has an ability of frightening. Well, what kind of frightening? Let me make sure. Boom, I click on it. And then I have analog. I've printed out all of the the restrictions like poisoned, stunned. I have those all in a printout, and then I usually have my phone. Because in my group there are some spellcasters who don't always like to read their spells.
Come on, that's your
before
job.
They cast them.
That's your job.
It's their job, and they also have all the time in between a turn to read it too. And they
They're
should.
one
But they
person.
always. inevitably say the wrong thing. So then it's on me. So I'll be like, I don't think that's how the spell goes. No, it is. I go, I'm pretty okay, I'm going to read it to you. So I need to like pull it up, which is kind of a pain in the ass for everybody at the table. But, it's
because you have like
part of the job.
You have 10 people at the table or something, don't you? You have like a pretty large crew.
Yeah, I mean, there were for most of the last year, I've DM'd for 11.
Wow. That's how do you man?
Yeah,
that's a lot of kids.
It is. It's a lot, and if everybody's on top of their game and they know their abilities, they know their character, then it moves. And when they don't, then it drags and it gets a little tricky, and people start, losing. They start losing their minds.
That's your nightmare as a DM, right? You've done all this prep. You've built out Hoth. You've got your notes. You have your monsters. You've studied up. You read the monsters know what they're doing. You have their text. You're doing all this, and then like you get there and the player doesn't know. They've got like one spell and they don't know what the it's like, come on, dude, do your homework. I've done all this prep for you. I built this whole thing out. I did this just come up prepared.
Well, that's an interesting thing about being a dungeon master is there's a lot of social communication skills and like emotional intelligence you need to have because every one of your players inevitably wants something different from the game.
Yep.
So it's about being able to understand what that is without having a conversation about it. To kind of understand this player over here loves story and mythology and history. Yeah. So I'm always going to have that stuff on top because they're playing a cleric who is going to pray to their god for answers, and I want to have these cool things so that they go, wow, this is amazing. How did you have that ready to go?
They get crazy. That nugget, and they're just like, you made their whole session with that one sentence of like cool lore.
Yeah, or they have this conversation with their god appears to them in a dream. I love dream sequences, so the god will always appear in their dream, and they'll get some kind of clue, and I'll have to try to decipher it. And, so I enjoy that, but that's one kind of a player. Then there's another player who loves treasure hunting. Yeah. So you have to, set up rewards for that player, but also if they're going to fly off and split the party to go find the shiny object, sometimes you need to make them pay for that.
Yeah.
So there's a balance for your players, but understanding who they are and what they want. And then, I mean, it is a lot of work, but the beauty of it is if you learn how to dungeon master, you'll always have friends. There's always going to be somebody who's going to want to call you up and get you to do something. And there's something like really fun and wonderful about that. But on the flip side of that, I had a guy very vocally do his fantasy football draft at the table while I was trying to run an adventure that I had like put so much work into, and that guy I never invited him back.
Well, and then also it starts dragging other players out of the game, and like it's popping this bubble, right? You're building this fantasy bubble that you're all invested in, and you're all there, and as soon as someone's like starts pulling apart the bubble, it's it starts unraveling a little bit, and you're losing attention, the intensity, and all that. Like, it's poisoning.
Yeah, we all want to be immersed.
Yeah, I want to be there. I want to be in this thing. I don't want to think about anything out of there. I want to be here with this in this moment. And
really, I think all the players want that.
Yeah.
And that's what everybody really truly wants who loves this game and is addicted to the game the way that we all are. They want that. It's just a matter of how to create that type of atmosphere. And like I said, sometimes there's like social emotional intelligence that comes in where you have to like set these kind of boundaries, or at least also have your players. Sometimes my players get so frustrated that they chime in against the other people who aren't reading their spells or aren't checking, and they're like, come on, man, let's go. We gotta kill this guy. We gotta come on. So you said you prepare speeches for your NPCs and stuff. So I'm curious, as an actor, are there tricks that you do to get into character for your NPCs? Like, do you do voices? Do you do figure out the motivations for your NPCs? You write script? What's that? Are you drawing upon your full repertoire of acting skills? Yeah, sure. I mean, whatever you have, bring it to the table. And if you're not an actor, that's fine too. I mean, for example, one of the greatest games I ever played in was with Tracy Hickman. So Tracy, for people who don't know, wrote the Dragonlance, co-wrote the Dragonlance novels with Margaret Weiss, and he also wrote what is widely regarded as the greatest Dungeons and Dragons adventure of all time, Ravenloft, which became Curse of Strahd. And so Tracy ran me through some Strahd.
Dude.
And Tracy is not an actor. He's not a professional actor. That's not who he is. But he's a world-class New York Times best-selling author. Yeah. So he took his literary talents, and the way he would describe the table that was set out and what was on the table and the food and the candles and the organ music and what you hear and how it echoes and the verbiage that he used. It was like being inside of a turn of the last century novel.
You were living the novel.
Amazing. Yeah. So it's just, you bring what you bring to the table. And for me, yeah, I do bring all of that. And for example, but I also try to work a certain humor into it that I take seriously. But for example, like, I was running Tyranny of Dragons, and the blue dragon army came through and just destroyed the whole town, and then the players helped to try to fight and save as many lives as they could while this attack was going on. But then the dragons retreated, they destroyed the town, looted it, pillaged it, took off. So they were left. So I had a new character, a new player was going to join, and he was playing a Goliath bard named Lemmy Scumdragon, the Goliath bard.
Inspired by Motorhead.
His character was, but his character was modeled after the saxophone guy in the Lost Boys. With the purple pants. Yep. He was a Goliath who wore a wig and put like tanning oil on to look lubed up, like he was amazing. That guy. And so I was like, how do I introduce his character? So, and then I thought, well, if the whole city was destroyed, a very out of touch governor of this town would maybe think the best thing would be to have a benefit concert to raise the spirits of the people in town, which is like not what they need. They need to like rebuild everything, not spend money on
a benefit concert.
Stupid benefit concert. So I had him come up with this whole speech that he got up and gave from the stage that was so out of touch, and I performed it, and I didn't say, I just said this, they knew it was the governor. I got it, but I did it in a way where I was talking like Billy D. Williams, who's Lando Calrissian, and they were like, the players were like, is this guy Lando? Like, what the heck? And so immediately they caught what I was doing, how I was speaking, the timbre in my voice, the way I was kind of saying things, and immediately it took on this connotation of, that's Lando Calrissian, the greatest traitor in the history. And so they immediately didn't trust the guy, and so now I have the players exactly where I want them, where they like think this guy is shady, where he really is kind of shady, but now they're being introduced to the new character in this very organic way, who came out and played this benefit concert that was like terrible.
Yeah.
But then afterwards he wound up joining the group, and now they started adventuring together. So it was kind of like, like I'm always looking for those ways to weave those stories together. But yeah, I write these speeches and I have fun with it in a way that is going to make them start laughing, or, sometimes like, really, some of them are like heartfelt, depending on, if it's a family member or something like that, then I'll write something heartfelt. But
you want to evoke an emotion, right? You want to get your players in there and just, have them feel something.
Yeah.
Do you memorize?
Exactly.
Do you memorize these speeches?
No, I just write them down.
Okay.
I do enough memorization at work.
Dude,
here's what I will
how do
say.
you memorize lines? Because you try to do lines on camera to like, just for a Kickstarter video for like 2 minutes is like the hardest. I need to coach me through this. How do I do this?
Look, that's tricky. I mean, dialogue is easier than like a technical monologue.
Yeah.
It's like anytime you're on like an ER or a CSI and you have to deliver technical jargon or exposition, or he needs 25 cc's of this and 30 cc's of that, and I mean, that's like,
how do you do that?
But the easiest way to learn that stuff would be to learn about medicine, right, to the point where you would actually know in that situation what that person would probably need, or you know what those chemicals do, you know what those drugs are being injected. So when you say they need 25 cc's of blank, you actually know that. It's not you just regurgitating information. It's like
there's subtext.
That's
like,
of course what
you're like, man, if he doesn't get this, he's gonna die. Is what the subtext of like he needs 25 cc's of blue goo, and it means something because you're like, if he doesn't get it, I know what's gonna happen.
Well, yeah, because what happens is then you connect the thought to the impulse. Yeah. So now you're connecting these two, and it comes out right. It's like, when someone says to your character, well, what are we going to do? And your response is, we're going to fight. It's like you have to, your character of course would say we're going to fight in that situation. So once you learn that about your character, that's where they're coming from, then the answers are natural, because you're coming from a place of character rather than of memorization, if that makes sense.
Totally makes sense.
But I try not to memorize any. I mean, I write all my speeches down, and it's all good, and I'll have it behind the DM screen, and I'll be reading and doing this or doing that. But then inevitably they'll start talking to the NPC, and then this thing goes down, and now we're into it. Now we're into a scene, and we're improv, and I'm talking the way that the character would talk, or but the crazy, one of the crazy parts of DMing is once you have a druid in the group who can talk to animals.
Oh man.
So then they're going to try to talk to every single animal. They get clues. So like, is there a squirrel around here somewhere? And you're like, yes. And then they talk to the squirrel, and now your brain is like, okay, what does the squirrel talk like? And then they cast it, and so they kind of do it on purpose to see, what the horse sounds like. It's like little kids. It's funny.
So what's the horse sound like, Joe?
The horse is like, well, he talks like that. That would be the horse voice.
What about the squirrel?
Squirrel would be like, oh man, this is crazy. Demonic, satanic little animals in South Park. Like whatever.
Mr. Hanky Squirrel.
And then they met a seagull.
What's the seagull sound?
Yeah, they met a seagull, and then the seagull was not very impressed by that. It was crazy. And they said, well, Seagull, what is your name, Seagull? My name is unpronounceable to you, but I mean, if you want, you can call me Christopher Squawkin.
Squawkin.
And so, so you have Christopher Squawkin and the seagull that shows up all the time. So it's, I mean, we just have fun. So there's serious moments, but then it's like, we just laugh hysterically and just, talk smack the whole time, which is very funny.
That's D&D, right? That's why we're here, is to sit down around a table and laugh and have a good time. How is it digital? You're playing digital right now, yeah?
Yeah.
How's that adjustment for you? It's a lot harder for me. Like, what's the digital experience like for you?
It's tricky because, I'm better analog.
Me too.
For sure. I'm better with my hands. I'm better when I can write on a legal pad rather than type. I'm better when I can go down and pull out the vats of Dwarven Forge and start building, because things can come out of that. It's hard adjusting to finding little scrap map pieces, and I think there's some of the D&D modules have cool maps. Some of them just have like crappy black and white, like pen sketch maps that suck, and that's not too immersive. So it's been tricky. Like I said, it was like when we were talking about like Hoth, or we were talking about Empire Strikes Back. It's like, I knew way down at the end of my campaign, I wanted this huge fight with dragons in a city. I wanted them to be
what you put on Twitter?
Running.
You had like Waterdeep on fire. Like you built like half of Waterdeep and then set it on fire. Right?
Yeah, but even that map was even bigger than it was when I, of what I actually put up online. So it was this massive thing, but it took me weeks to find an appropriate city piece to use for that, because like I said, years ago I had this thing in my mind where I was going to have all of the Dwarven Forge city builder piece and just build Waterdeep, build like a whole section of it, just giant. I was going to build it on like a floor not even a table, like floor, and just have this massive city, and they would keep moving throughout the city, like in and out of doors, up on balconies, like anywhere was legal. You could go anywhere on the map.
So the ultimate
But there were
sandbox
gonna be-
battle of just huge city, like, oh,
and dragons everywhere with elevation and monsters and the ground troops and civilians screaming and burning and fire and everything and when we got there, I just couldn't, we couldn't do it, so I had to do it. I had to figure out how to do it online, and it was tricky.
Yeah.
It was very tricky to pull that off.
I find the hard part is like the talking, like the crosstalk. Like, it's hard. It's sometimes hard to know when the DM is talking to you because everybody's kind of looking straight ahead at the same camera and not trying to step on each other, and like one person talking at a time, and those social cues that are already hard are then even harder when you got all these windows. I don't know. It's just like.
Well, then it's like, as a DM, you become part like talk show host, where you're like, hold on. Dan, what did you say? You were going to say something? Like you have to sense, what all that is. But I say back to what I was saying about, the writing of speeches and things like that.
Yeah.
What happens is, like, as a DM, you wind up setting the tone for your game. And people fall in line. And like I said, if you want to come in and you want to do your fantasy football draft at the table and then split the party and, have a character die or almost die and it's your fault, then like, you might not come back. You might not be invited back. But what I will say is that what's happened in my game is, like, for example, one of the guys went down in a fight. All 3 death saves gone.
Oh.
And the dragon armies started dragging his body out. They were going to open some dimensional door, drag him out, and bring him back as a trophy. Look what we did. And so they hasted the rogue in the group, and they came up with this plan on split second, like, I'm going to haste you. You're going to use your movement with the whistle of flying. You're going to get in there. And one of the magic users, I think the druid, said, cut his hand off.
Oh, bring him back.
And he was like, what? And they were like, get his hand. If you can't get the body, get the hand. So he ran in there, split the party, ran in, snuck in, and sure enough, there was no way he was going to be able to pull the body out without him getting killed too. So he ran in, bang, cut the hand off, disengaged, and ran out. And they used the hand to reincarnate him. Okay? And so, because they know that part of this campaign, at least for me, has been these speeches, that's like, I write a speech, they write a speech, someone dies, a cleric dies, they meet their god, I write what the god says, I have this whole conversation and monologues of the god, and they get to meet them all, and all the NPCs have things to say. So what it did was, the druid guy, I then let him and kind of like take over part of the process, and he started describing to me about preparing the area that they were going to cast this reincarnation.
He took the ritual. He made it his.
Yeah, and then the death cleric then stepped in and prepared the body. So now I've got this other character, now he's preparing and he's describing in detail the oils and the bandages and preparing and the hand and, all this stuff. And, and then they went down to this river and they decided to do it there on this riverbed. And, it was like this cool spot that they picked. And then unbeknownst to all of us, the guy they were reincarnating. So I made this huge table, a reincarnation table, because the OG reincarnation table is just player's handbook. So it only has all of the races that are included in the player's handbook. Well, I wanted to include all these other races that were apropos to at this stage in the story in the world that we were playing in. And also, like, he was a Goliath. So Goliaths weren't in the player's handbook. So now you have to account for all the Volos monsters and everything that's come in between and da-da-da-da. So unbeknownst to us, the guy who's being reincarnated, I made him roll on the table. He finds out what he's going to be. And unbeknownst to us, he had prepared this whole speech that he just launches into. That was maybe the most epic D&D moment like I've ever seen, where one of the players is like, he rises up and describes and sits up in this riverbed, and and then gives this whole speech to the rest of the group. We were like, yeah, it was great. It was super cool when you create an atmosphere that's like, it's fun. Don't get me wrong, we laugh,
Yeah.
we laugh our asses off, but we take the storytelling seriously, because that's why we're all there. We all want to tell this great story and remember it and be a part of the most epic story possible. And so me as the DM, I have to set up a culture, a
Yep.
little mini culture in a way
Inspire them and
that's
show
what it's
them
about.
and get them to.
Yeah. Now you could
run with it.
join in. You help me tell the story. You do it too. Come on. Like, nudge it that way. Like, give me a great idea and I'll let you do it.
It's the best.
So
do you have any special tools besides terrain, which we'll talk about in a sec? Do you have any special tools, anything that you use that's like, as a DM, that's like, man, I can't play without this, right? This is the thing that has just been, life changing, or.
Yeah, so I use stat trackers when I play.
I love Jim's stat trackers.
Yeah, stat trackers are awesome. They're these, for people that don't know, it's like a box with little like alphabetical cards, like little ABC, DEF, and chromatic dragon, metallic dragon, and they have all the cards in there that you could possibly need, and they're in these like buck slips basically, and they can fold over the top of your DM screen, and then they have blank ones. So what I do is, like, when we roll initiative, I have my players, everybody who joins my campaign has to write their name on both sides with their passive perception, and they hand me their buck slip, and I put those over my DM screen. They just kind of sit. You see everybody's name. So when we roll initiative, I just rearrange all the cards.
Well, the best part is you have all their stats on the inside, so you know what their AC and their perception and all this stuff, so you can quietly roll against stuff without having to ask them, hey, what language do you speak? All that, you've got all that stuff there, which is so you can sneak a lead and stuff.
So those are great. I love those.
He's got a new Kickstarter right now. He just launched yesterday. I
just signed up today.
It's the best.
Yeah, I'm in.
And do you know he was Stefan's childhood DM? Jim used to run Stefan.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. We introduced you to Jim at Gen Con. Yeah, he's like he lives out
Well,
Long
I'm a big
Island.
fan of his product. Yeah.
Yeah, he's amazing. He ran D&D for Stefan for years. And he's got a whole bunch of
I didn't
DF
know that.
stuff.
I didn't know that part.
Dude, it's a small little
didn't know
world,
that
right?
part.
Yeah. No,
That's so cool.
He's
But
the coolest.
I love stat trackers. I have this great DM screen that Cognitive Merchants made me out of England. They made me this.
Yeah.
They made me a red dragon skin.
Stop.
DM shield with the hand of Vecna with the eye in the middle on the front.
Yeah.
So I love that. What else I use? I mean, oh my God. What else? I mean, you talk about all the terrain. Obviously, I'm like a big miniatures guy.
Let's talk about the terrain a little bit. So you were talking a little bit about sort of doing some builds and then tweaking them and whatever. Like, what's your build process? Like, what I do sometimes is I'll kind of rough out a build and then use that to inspire my story and then tweak the build. Like, once I'm like, oh, wait, no, I need to do this, and whatever. Like, how do you, in terms of storytelling, how does building with terrain affect your story and vice versa?
Well, I think what I've had a lot of fun with in the past is taking the D&D modules and then turning them into Dwarven Forge. Yeah. Like, I will just set the map out, or I'll print out a copy of the map and sit it on the table, and okay, that's 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay. All right, so I need that much there. Okay, so let's see what I got. And then you start building, the island is this big, and it has this temple that's this close to the water. Okay, so I'm going to build a grotto with my transition pieces. Okay, cool. And then I've got the dock coming out this way. Oh, but there's a tower. Okay, I need castle. I need to order some more castles. So now I have the big castle coming over here. And I have my water tile. So so I actually really like to try to take their maps or like I'll have them going through like Tamochan. Like we did the dungeon of Tamochan, and I would take. It was right when like the movable trays came out, so you could actually really set stuff up and then move them, move the little trays in. So I was building rooms of Tamochan out of the movable trays, and I would hide them in the closets and cabinets so they couldn't see them. So when they would they would take a hallway or maybe go in this room or that room.
You just fly in.
I then would say, hold on 1 second. And they go, oh!
There's a new thing.
And then I go out and pull, and I turn on all the lights and the lanterns and the little, and I come out in the torches, and they'd be like, what? Oh! And then I put it down and kind of connect it.
Yeah.
And then if they maybe beat that room and got to the next room, I go, hold on. And I pull that one out. And,
well, that was one of my questions is how do you reveal stuff? You like to fly it in. What about like big giant,
man.
What about big giant builds?
I want them to go, oh my God, what's happening?
Yeah. What about big giant builds that are too big to fly? Like, do you cover them or do you?
Yes. Yeah. So I did similarly. I took the flying ice castle, the Cloud Giants flying ice castle from Tyranny, and I made that on my dining room table. It was actually so big that I needed to come up, but I had the tape measure out, and I was like, okay, 1 inch is 5 feet, and I was like, okay, I need enough castle wall pieces, and then I would, kind of just start building it out and go, oh, I need a tower here, I need a tower there, I need a room here, room there, and then you're all of a sudden you're like, this is exactly scale to what was in the book. Yes, like, oh yeah,
Oh, it's the best. So then here's the other question of it is, how do you store your stuff? Like, what's your storage situation like? Because you have a dungeon, and you've got a ton of minis, you've got a ton of terrain. Like, how do you sort your terrain? How do you store it? How do you store all your minis? Like, how do you,
Yeah. Well,
because it's a problem. It's a problem a lot of people have.
Man, believe me, it is something else. I'll tell you. There it is. You need surface area. I mean, for all the minis, for sure. Because a lot of mine are like pretty delicate.
Yeah.
And I use minis from all different games. So I'm always looking at the Kickstarter, seeing what's out there. I also get into CMON, for example. Like I get
those big games.
I have actually. All of the CMON minis from Game of Thrones are now being custom painted by a painter right now. So I have like Tyrion and the Mountain and the Hound and
they had
Khal
everything,
Drogo,
all the soldiers and all that. Like that was a massive offering. It was like every cavalry and the whole thing. Like it was outrageous.
Yeah.
And some terrain.
Yeah, so I have all of those on the way, and then I use a lot of Warhammer stuff. I'll have that because some of those pieces, the way that they do like a chimera. Or some big war god, and I'll just come up with stats. Or my friend Method Man, he's this painter name.
Yeah,
Method.
Yeah,
Buddy.
Yeah, he's actually in chat right now. He's been watching.
Buddy's
the whole time.
here. He's
yeah.
Hey.
Oh, sweet. Okay, so Buddy. So I told Buddy, I said, listen, I'm coming up with all of these new creatures for my campaign. Like what I wanted was. There's kind of this drop off where if you read Tyranny, it's like kobolds, drakes, and like some cultists, and it's like I can't have my players fighting this through level 15. It needs to grow, and so my good buddy Mike Merles came up with the draconian stats for 5
from Dragonlance.
He went in
ported them.
He made all the Dragonlance draconians, all 5 of them, modded them for 5e, and gave them to me. So I called Buddy and said, listen, I have this massive darkness kit from CMON that has all these troglodytes that look like half dragons or draconians. So I mailed them to Buddy along with these giant ones that they had.
The gator, gator looking thing with a big
There's a big gator looking one that Buddy painted. There was like a kaiju looking one from Rising Sun. So I sent him all these big ones. And I said, Buddy, I have this idea that, my character Crow, who is Arkhan's alchemist, his death clerk, he'd be the one who's behind corrupting the dragon eggs that turn into draconians. And he'd also be into kidnapping giants and experimenting on them and turning them into these wingless, draconic.
Yes.
Yeah. So then, on the table, you have everybody's mini, and then there's these giant wingless, just dragon abominations that would hit the board and just tear everything apart. And so I started statting up and creating my own monsters, which then opened up the world to all of these minis that like Buddy was painting for me, for example. And then Buddy got a 3D printer, started resin printing me more of these big like kaiju, and so you just have fun. You just see where your creativity goes, and you have an idea in your mind like, oh, I want this. I see this giant city battle, but there's these huge abominations in the streets and people running and things on fire, and then you just, I don't know, you just make it.
It's the best. So wait, but where do you store it? It's still, that's my question. Like, how do you store all this stuff? Because you got like, now you just listed like 600 different minis that you have. Plus,
dude,
like,
if I could take my iPad and show you like
dude,
all of. I'm looking at the Tarrasque that Buddy
it?
just painted. Like I could show you all this crazy stuff that I have all over my.
Can we see it?
So I'll walk it around. Yes. So the Dwarven Forge. The Dwarven Forge goes into like Target Tupperware containers.
Yeah. It's the best, right? You just label them up, slide them, stack them.
Exactly. Like I'll have, Under Doom paint job caverns.
Just big bucket.
Large pieces.
Yep.
Under Doom cavern, small pieces. Then I have, regular paint job cavern, large pieces, small pieces. Then I have ice. Then you hellscape. Now I have to put the hellscape away. I'm getting my new Tupperware tomorrow.
Did you get your hellscape?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't have mine yet.
My resin gate is on the way though.
Woo! Yeah, where do you keep your resin? Do you have the big flat file cabinets, or what do you do for your resin?
Resin generally I still keep in that styrofoam.
Yeah.
Like for example, like I have a lot of the old school. Do you remember? I don't know what they're called, but there was one long time ago. Because we were talking about this like before we got online, that Dwarven Forge has been around since what, 96? You said
Stefan started in 96. Yeah, that's
so people don't even realize how 24. Long this brand has been around, how proven this brand has been around. But anyway, so one of the earlier kits was it was like almost like an elven stone like temple pieces that had like vines
the
and
Woodlands
overgrowth.
This is the Julie Guthrie Woodlands set that was like beautiful. Like it was like the hedges and the walls are all like natural and the floor is clean stone. And, limited edition.
So I found a set on eBay because I'm always fishing around looking for
Sandra Garrity.
Someone who's willing to sell resin sets, because I love the resins. I have all these resin. I've collected a lot of the resin water and resin river kits because they're gorgeous.
Oh, you were banging on our door at Gen Con. You're like, wait, you've got some in the van? Like, how many do you have in the van? Where's the van? Show me. Like, you're like, wait a second. You got the good stuff here. Like, what?
Well, they're so great with those little like stalactites or stalagmites, like, the skulls at the top and everything. It was so. Oh my God. I love those things. So I would use those. So I would collect all of those, and then I'd get ideas like, oh, I'm gonna make some temple to Merkel out in the jungle using those old resin pieces mixed with like Pathfinder maps. I get those like Paizo,
which I think are coverage. They're beautiful. You get big coverage, and you spot them up with some cool terrain, and it's like Sly Flourish does that a lot too. And Shad
and you kind of
Ross does that, and
cover what you don't like with the temple pieces and things like that, or kind of like block it out, and it really looks cool.
It's
and
great.
That's what we did before we had Wildlands. Okay, that's what we did before we had official Dwarven Forge outdoor terrain, which we have now. So it's okay.
Well, in 9 months or whatever, but we gotta send you. We have to send you some prototypes so you can get a few pieces of polystone on your table. Yeah.
So the prototypes, you sent me some resin pieces of caverns before they came out.
I wrote all these silly things on the bottom, like I wrote like silly messages.
My players were like, "What the hell?" Yeah. But like, I can't tell you, just in like a box, box this big, of resin pieces, how many different builds I got out of it. I made so much different terrain and so many cool little rooms for my players to go into just out of a small amount. So it's like a lot of times people think, oh, well, if I can't get the full Kickstarter, then the hell with it. But it's like, you can, believe me, a little bit goes a long way. Now, I'll also say that like your buddy will probably laugh at this if he's watching, but like You can never have enough Dwarven Forge.
That's what he just
That-
said.
that's what
in
I've
the
always
chat.
said.
He just
It's
said,
true.
my curse is that I will never have enough
Dwarvenite is
forge."
highly addictive.
Yeah.
And resin is just
Yeah,
as
that you could use that as your next slogan.
Yeah, say it
Never
again
have
nice and
enough
clear.
Dwarven.
Say
I
it,
don't know. Maybe you already do.
say it like a squirrel would say it. What's it?
Well, you can never have enough Dwarven Forge.
There it is. That's our that's the Wildlands numbers are going through the roof right there.
Yeah.
We did it. Well, let's look at some stuff because we've been talking a lot.
Okay.
And I could talk about this stuff all night. Let's look at. I'll show you this dwarven puck because I think it's charged up now, and then we'll look at. I have a little build here. We got all sorts of things. And I'm going to show a new piece for you because, why not? Because, we didn't get to play. We got to play Gen Con reveal game. You were the first person in the world to play on the Dread Hollow Forest. And
Love it.
blew up all the NPCs with your fireball. And, it was.
Oh, yeah. I think I hit Satine's Tabaxi by accident. She was too close to
It
my
wasn't
fireball.
by accident.
Which happens.
You could have sculpted the spell and you chose not to. You absolutely did it on purpose. You were like,
oh, man. Well,
it was on principle.
but now she gets to play as a hairless Tabaxi, which is really,
Yeah.
I think.
I just played.
Cool.
She played that character in a game last week with Matt Lillard and her and Ember Moon and Kelly from Dungeon Dudes. And she said when she did her character, she's like, yeah, I'm a shifter, whatever. And my whole face is all scarred up because a certain somebody hit me with a fireball point blank in the face, and I still have no hair there. So she bears that scar like 2 years later. Yeah.
I have a player that happened to, actually, the Big Show, big WWE champion. So Big Show's character went down, and then someone lit a fireball off in the room because they figured, oh, well, he's down anyway. So they just, boom, lit this fireball off. So when his character was resurrected, I now half of it is like, it's like Two-Face. It's like Two-Face. Like you can see into his mouth. And so, but it's actually cool for his character. Yeah. Very cool.
All right, so check this thing out. You ready? So this
I'm ready.
This is the Dwarven light puck. So it doesn't look like much because this is our first prototype. We've got Scotch tape on there, and it's like, it's written in Sharpie, and it's coming together. But it's just like a boring looking piece of plastic. But I got a little cell phone app here, and let's bring this thing to life, right? So we gotta stop down. It's way too. I'll turn the brightness down. Hold on.
All right. Now you got to turn it down so I can see it.
I gotta show you. So okay. All right. Can you see that there? How's that look on your? Hang on. Let me turn this down.
Oh, okay. Now wow. It looks
right,
like
can you see
you're
that?
holding like a fireball or something.
Yeah. So now I've got, using my phone here, I can trigger. I have a whole bunch of different effects that we've programmed in here, and it's completely programmable and controllable with your phone. So you're like, okay, that's pretty cool. Let's check out. So now you put this, so it's like, okay, alone it's just like a flashy, cool light thing, but you throw it inside a piece, and suddenly you've got like a magic pool, or maybe it's just a calm, glistening pool. Or so like I did this game, so Toby made all these cool programs, right? So they were supposed to go to this oracle pool, and it was supposed to be calm, but the Banshee Queen was upset, so it was kind of swirling. And then every time they did something to upset her, she'd trigger a little lightning, so I could just hit my button and fire off lightning in there. And then she got really mad, and we got like the red lightning was coming out. And then they finally like calmed her down, and it like went calm, and then they activated it to look into the future, and boom, you got to like see that. So then we got you. So then you can also, so let's do.
So cool, man.
And we got this thing. Okay, so then you have, this is the Codex vault cover. So then you can map and control all the LEDs. So see this thing here. So we had.
Yes.
So this was like the MacGuffin. They had to figure out how to like shut down the different things. So if they did some stuff, it could kind of cause a little glitch. But then when they would knock off one of the bits, you could knock off one quadrant at a time as they were solving the different, getting the things. And then finally, it all went off and
Oh, that's so cool for a puzzle. Yeah, when you have
Yeah.
a puzzle that your players have to solve.
And then we reversed it, so then they had to start fixing it so you could reactivate one area, reactivate the next area, reactivate the next, and it's all I'm just triggering it on the phone so you can set up and do this thing, and then you get the whole thing, and then so and you can do moving lava, you can do fire, you can do all this stuff, and then trigger it with your phone. So when you can leave it off when they first get there, so they don't know they don't know the pool's magical, right? You bake it in, you put it under this hole knoll. Where's the hole knoll?
What's so fun, Nate, is, and this is like, fine, I'm going to be that guy right now. But, when I was a kid, we had graph paper and a pencil.
Yeah.
And you imagined everything. And that was it. So the fact that you're making things that we imagined but never had, that you can actually see, there's something really magical about that.
Well, that's what we're going for, right? Is we're trying to, and you saw it in your head as a kid, right? You're 14 and you're imagining all this stuff. You saw it, and now we can actually see it. So like you could have a thing and it looks inert, right? The players are there and they're hanging out, they're standing out, they're doing whatever, and they do something, and you can trigger like I don't know, what do we want to trigger on them? What do we have? Do we have a lightning storm? It starts starting with lightning. They're like, oh no, or fire comes out, or something. You can do stuff that they didn't even know had an effect in there. You can just trigger it. You can have multiple on your table. Maybe they don't know where the NPC, you got 5 of these as spawning points for the demons. They don't know which one's going to come out. You trigger on your phone which one lights up, and they got to run across the room to try and stop that one before the demons come out. Like it's going to be outrageous. Like people, they don't even know what's coming.
It's so cool.
Yeah, we're...
they're tabletop special effects that you can work into your game to make your players' jaws drop, which I love. There's nothing like that moment when your players just you hear that,
and and then they do stuff, and they trigger the thing. It's like it's that fun, you see the thing, you're like, oh man, it's like, I don't know, it's I'm pretty excited about this thing because it's like we haven't even started tapping the surface of all it can do, and you throw it under your lava and you can have movement, and it's bonkers. But let's go.
And you're saying that an all-in pledge gets you 2 of those.
2 of these. Yeah, you're getting 2 of these, Joe. They're coming your way.
Very
yeah. Cool. And then, of course, you can buy more and, program them up and have multiple triggering a whole bunch. And, this thing is, I'm very, very excited about this thing. And, of course, you can put all of your old pieces, can you toss me the Fey Wellspring? Let's say, say you just got some Hellscape. You got this Infernal Circle piece. Right, so you can put this thing
it all works together. It all kind of fits.
Of course, right? It's weird. What's the point of making it a modular world if it's not a modular world?
No. But that's what's so cool is you think about anything you get for Legos ever.
Yes.
Always fits together. Anything you get Dwarven Forge just fits together.
Yeah, that's our goal. Okay, let's see if you can see that. You see that thing up there? And then we can just some energy bursts off. All your I don't know what people are going to do exactly with all this, but it's going to be
the meteor. That's where the meteor hit,
right? And then you trigger out the thing, and your big bad wizard is going to cast a thing, and then you gotta you trigger it all. You notice we're making all these cool tools. That's one of the fun things about this is we make all these tools. And we don't know exactly how people are going to use them, right? We don't know what the build. We don't know you're going to make a floating cloud giant castle or the corner of Waterdeep or whatever tavern. We're giving you all these tools, and people are going out there, make it their own, and doing all this crazy stuff.
Yeah. Did you see recently someone put up a picture that kind of blew my mind? That was they were taking the magnetic trays, and they set them up, and they started using the magnetic wall pieces to create steps down
going
the
down.
Wall.
It's
it was like whoa! I didn't even think of putting that sideways and just having these steps go down into the lava pit. It was, oh man! You every once in a while you see something that just. How did I not think of that?
It was so simple and so brilliant. I was like, but of course, Oh, it was amazing. Let's go wander around.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna wander.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a little.
Okay.
I have a little build here. You know what we can do? Okay. Actually, this will be fun. I have an idea. So let's say, put this here. I have this. We have a thing. All right. So let's just say that. All right. You see this guy? I don't know if you recognize this guy.
Oh.
Yeah, he might be
I
familiar.
know
Hamster painted him up, and you just
Nice.
you're supposed to tell him that it's pretty cool, right? Because he worked.
That's a pretty damn good paint job. Jeez.
Right.
Yeah, that looks pretty awesome.
So
Jeez.
let's
Yeah,
let's
that's
say
super cool.
this guy was like just going out on a stroll and wandered over here and was like, we'll get these guys off the thing.
Oh man.
All right, so I can't really tell what you actually can see because I don't have a
Man,
monitor.
I love those like Stonehenge looking
Yeah.
kind of forest ruin. I love
So
that.
so let's say Arkhan had just wandered into a swamp randomly, right? So I hear you're retired from live stream D&D, so we're not really playing D&D, but let's just say that that Arkhan was wandering around in the swamp. Where would he go? Do you want to go over and check out? Would he go check out those ruins? I'm sorry,
I think
dropping
so.
the camera.
Yeah, I think he's he's always on the lookout for like some sort of artifact. But what is this pool he's walking by? Looks like
That's a
there's
good
some kind of.
question. Yeah. So this is actually.
Yeah.
Let's turn this up. Let me see that there. This is glowing with some sort of magic, and it seems like there might be 4 things feeding it. Perhaps there's 4 different things. If you could destroy the 4 sources of power for it, it might deactivate, and there might be an artifact inside or something.
Okay. I love the new stream pieces. These like swampy stream that you can kind of look like you can walk through a little bit.
You know what that? Yeah. Do you think Arkhan would walk through that?
No, he would
Okay.
definitely not. But
I think
he
that's-
likes looking at them.
Razor vine down there. I don't know. It doesn't look friendly.
Yeah.
So
Definitely
let's say,
not. I like the mangrove kind of like those
Yeah.
trees that have the.
the crazy
Yeah,
roots.
that's pretty cool.
Don't worry, you're getting all of
Yeah.
this in your Wildlands
Ooh,
Untamed.
man.
There. All right, so let's say.
So
yeah,
yep.
you
I'm
what were you
heading up towards these little ruins,
Yeah.
the Stonehenge kind of like druidic looking.
Well, let's get closer. Why don't you
structure.
why don't you give me a perception check? And what do you think you rolled if you were going to roll a perception check?
I mean, I could just grab my death saves dice right now and I could roll them up. Hold on a second. Let me see here. So, yeah. So we actually put these out for Anyway,
Ooh, let's see. Let's see 'em. Hold them
see
up.
my Nate. I don't know if do you have one of these, Nate? I could get you one of
No.
these.
Is that
So
a
So we made
Crown
this.
Royal?
Took me. This is a death saves, old school dice.
Crown Royal.
A little bit to the
A little bit to his left.
to your left.
Oh,
There
this
you
over
go.
here?
There you go.
Oh,
That's perfect.
dude.
Oh,
Right there.
nice.
I used to
See?
keep my dice in the Crown Royal bag, of course. That was
Absolutely. These are the small ones, and then we have the large ones, like like all the ones. Yeah, when we were kids, that's
Yeah.
what you kept your dice in. So I figured, well, the hell with it. We'll make our own. We'll make them for the
Oh, I love
the people who are of that generation. And then let's see here. I have my death saves ice dice.
Woo!
So I'll roll up one of these.
Dude,
Archon's perception.
Did I show you? Have you seen the dice that we made with Die Hard Dice for this Kickstarter? The Horizon dice.
Yeah, they have like the terrain almost.
Yeah,
like, in
yeah.
the,
No,
in the dice. Yeah,
they've
pretty cool,
created
man.
they've created a 2-dimensional panorama, 360 panorama based on the terrain. We gave them all these pictures of the terrain. They came here to look at the prototypes and basically created dice that have a wraparound panorama of each biome around the. Yeah, it's outrageous.
Super cool.
They are
Actually,
wizards.
so I actually made Archon dice. I made a
Ah,
5 dice
A little bit to
Archon
your right.
set,
Lot.
and these are the old school D20s that are 0 through 9, 0 through 9.
yeah.
And so one of the sets of 0 through 9 has
a
a
dot.
dot on it
Yep.
to tell you to add 10, and then the other one. But this is also your D10 for anybody who's old school.
I filled them in with
as well.
crayon so they could see them better when it's like.
So Luke Gygax, a good friend of mine, he surprised me with a birthday gift a few years ago with a set of his dad.
No way.
Gary's dice that Gary colored in half of the numbers with a green marker.
Wow.
So
How many-
I get those are amazing.
How many players have died at the hands of those dice? It's like,
A
I mean,
lot.
at
They
Gary's
roll pretty
table.
well.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, they roll pretty well.
All right, so let's say
Yeah, pretty
let's say
awesome.
Arkhan was coming over here. Give me how about you can either a history or a perception check. Or investigation,
Okay.
your choice. What do you want to check out?
Ooh, okay. Maybe we'll go in investigation. Let's call it a 14.
All right. So you're noticing that these ruins, they look ancient. They're probably about 2,000 years old or so, and they're definitely they look of elven make, perhaps even Eladrin. And the thing that you notice mostly is these up here, these glow globes. They're still humming with magical energy. They're still glowing, even though these ruins have been long abandoned. And you think if perhaps you destroyed them, it might disable one of the 4 quadrants of the artifact.
All right. Well, yeah. Let's get to work. Does it look like those are low enough that I could swing my axe and
Arkhan's like 7 feet tall, isn't he?
Yeah, he's around there.
Yeah, so you could definitely with big old axe, you could definitely hit those. And you know what? It's stationary, so like just give me some damage. Like if you can't hit that, like
Great.
We're revoking Arkhan's paladin card. Like
yeah. All right, I'm getting out my D8s for my axe and my improved divine smite. So there we go. All right, so we'll go. I'm not raging, so let's call it 24 points of damage.
Definitely shatter. Go. But look at, we just popped that modular LED out and it's destroyed. And now.
That's cool.
Oh wait, we got it. We'll
Very
trigger.
Cool.
And of course that works with all of your other modular LED bits. So now.
My remote controls, those work on those lights. I can change different lights and things like that.
Those ones you can swap them out, but they're not. These ones don't remote control, but they're interchangeable. So you knock out one of the quadrants goes down. So now we have to look around. I forgot the. Oh, let's put the spore plant on there. Sorry, I'm hand holding this webcam. It's like you better hope you have your Dramamine over there. All right. So let's look around the swamp here. Now from here, it looks like there's in the far distance there looks like, see up on that crazy rock formation, that's Titan's Tooth. That's that is the artifact of power that you wish, but it's protected by a shield of force. But it looks like the shield is weakening now that you've destroyed one of the 4 ancient MacGuffins. So let's see, it looks like there's a big plant over there that I forgot to put the fogger in. It's got a little fogger that makes it spew fog out. We got a
wow.
A glowing flower. Yeah, if you go over and explore it, maybe we'll get some fog in there. There's a glowing flower that looks bad news. There's purple, terrible psionic succulents that looks dangerous. An ancient quildren tree back there, a spiraling fey tree. What do you think? Does Arkhan want to go play lumberjack and cut down a tree? Does he want to go talk to a flower?
Yeah, I was going to say.
What's he feeling like? I was
going to say well, I mean, definitely I think the tree is going to have to come down at some point. But in the meantime, maybe because it's on the way. What is it? Was there a succulence that was on the way? Or
yeah. The sarn. Okay, let's go over there. So we're going to avoid the water. And that's kind of the fun thing about all this negative space, right? Because, if you end up in the water, there's going to be leeches and it's going to be like terrible. So you're going to like work your way around all this terrain. We'll hop down here. Look at this big old log. You can just like go across the log. Woo!
That's cool. I love stuff like that, man.
All right. So now we're getting closer. Now this is where it gets bad. So you're going to jump out of this island, but you get close to these things and they look like they've got kind of like octopus suckers inside and they're kind of pulsing and bulbous and rubbery and really nasty. And you feel a little something as you get closer. Something sort of tickles at the back of your mind. Give me an intelligence save, the dreaded intelligence save. Like, when was the last time you had to make an intelligence saving throw?
No, rarely, which is why all the intelligence save spells are always like really, really good to get. Okay. I swear to you, this was a straight up roll. And I swear to you, where is it? There it is.
Nat 20? What do we got?
That's Nat 20.
Woo!
I swear.
All
that
right.
was it. And I mean, I have a straight up intelligence roll. Whew.
Awesome. All right, so Arkhan, you feel something is entering his mind, and his mind is like an iron fortress, right? The intellect fortress. So he's in fact so impregnable that both these plants recoil back in terror and immediately wilt and die from trying to trespass in Arkhan's mind, which is good because if you'd failed, you would have wandered over and put your head down inside the plant like a pillow. It would have wrapped its suckers around you and locked you in a state of perpetual nightmare and fed upon your sorrow until eventually your body died because you didn't eat. That's why they're called sorrow nests.
That's a bad way to go.
Yeah, but you know what? He's got a brain like a like a pseudo full plate male apparently. All right. Oh no, where'd the oh man, there was a mana stave over here. Well, it's gone, so this isn't one of your objectives. So let's keep wandering over to this tree here. Oh, I'm missing a corner. We've been stealing pieces out of this build to build some other things. So he's gonna come over here. Oh, look at these big old lily pads you can hang out on. Oh, and this is a big. Oh, wait, is there a? Can somebody grab a? I need the
Seal of binding.
Seal of binding. Yeah. All right, so this is an ancient. You see this? This is the Quilgen tree. It's an ancient.
Yeah, I love these new trees.
Right, spiraling Fey helix tree, and there's something shoved in the roots, but it's actually been removed. But we're going to shove it back on in there. And it seems like there doesn't seem to be any way. It looks like it's grown for 2,000 years. It's grown over this. There's some sort of ancient artifact in there. What do you want to do? What would Arkhan do to get this thing out?
Ancient artifact underneath the tree.
Yeah, in the roots. You can see it like poking out.
In the
I'm gonna
roots.
stick it in there, but I don't have it. It's in this little groove here. And it looks elven, right? It looks like it matches those ruins that you were at before.
Well, I don't think Arkhan's not much of a conservationist when it means winning a war or some sort of battle. So, if I would start swinging away at the roots of this tree,
just hacking this thing up,
just hacking it up. Yep.
All right. So if we had the time, it would trigger a crazy ripple that would make a pocket of the Shadowfell around here, and we'd swap this thing out with a black rot tree. But it's too hard to do while I'm putting on all these things. So I'm going to say we're just going to chop this tree right down because once again, it's a poor defenseless elven tree. And look at that, you can pull out the seal of binding. And this thing, if you perhaps destroyed it, it would stop. It would knock out one of the quadrants of the magic over there and get you that step closer to the ancient artifact.
I'm gonna swing my axe down and smash this thing.
Yes. All right.
Chop it in half.
But guess what? Wait, your axe is super magic, right? Yeah. So no problem.
Yeah.
Let's cut this thing in half. All right. So we have. Oh, do we have a reality rupture here? Oh, maybe I don't.
I love the elevation here too.
I'm unprepared for all my things. Well, we have a little cool reality rupture thing we could swap this for when you create.
I love the outdoor elevation.
Is that pretty?
Kit. I love that. Yeah.
And
I love
thing
it.
out,
It's
man.
great.
This is the Titan's Tooth base. Look how massive that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we have a cool topper that go on top of it when we get over to the other side. All right, so you shatter this thing. Poof. One with the, let's go, we're going to turn off Codex Vault number 2. Can you see that? Down to number 2. All right, so now it seems like you got to go, maybe we're going to have to go wander over to the other side of this thing and see what else you have to see. So do you want to go?
Speaking of wandering over, there's some little creatures wandering over to me. Hold on one second.
Oh, Baby Yoda, Baby Yoda.
Oh, its name is Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
No, its name is Bubbles.
Oh.
But I put on my Deathstroke helmet sometimes, and I put her in a brown blanket and feed her broth, and we reenact scenes from The Mandalorian.
Perfect.
It's the best. So look at that up
Okay.
here. The thing. All right, so we're gonna have to
All
make
right.
like
Arkhan's on the move.
Yeah. So how about an athletics check? Let's see how he's gonna get across. This is a long jump. Look at that thing. Oh, look at
Yeah,
this.
he's
these
pretty
new
athletic.
cypress trees you can put in with your other your Dread Hollow trees. You can swap those out.
Okay, that is a 29.
Woo! So he does like a triple Lindy, no problem. Like boom, boom, boom over here. But you're standing in front of now there's this magical plant. Its light is changing colors inside of it, and it's hypnotizing you. It's mesmerizing you. You're being ensorcelled by it. How are you going to defend yourself?
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Mental. I mean, I would close my eyes.
Okay.
First of all,
Yeah, good plan.
does
Good
that
plan.
change anything?
Yeah, yeah. You feel like it's sort of protect. As long as you don't see it, but you know what? Now you smell. What's Arkhan's favorite food? Does he eat?
He. I would say gnomes.
Gnomes. So it smells like freshly fried
No,
gnomes.
gnomes are halflings. One of the two.
Ooh, look at that over there. So it smells like freshly fried gnomes. Like this, and the smell is like it's almost worse having your eyes closed, because then you can just imagine like a gnome on a spit like rolling over there, and you kind of want to, look at that. You see the smoke coming out? Oh, it's gone.
Oh my gosh. Then I would probably try to Finger of Death I would start backing up
Yes.
while I cast Finger of Death from the hand of Vecna into this plant.
Awesome. Well, here's the good news. Like, this thing is 3 inches. Like, it's a 15-foot wide plant. Figure if you can't miss that they like.
That is amazing. I can't wait to see someone's rendition of Little Shop of Horrors with that plant.
Yeah. Right.
That would be
All right.
fantastic.
So the light goes out. The ensorcement stops, and I believe that is one of the that it was the ancient source of power powering this thing. But now, awaiting you over here is a spreading spore claw. Do you see that thing? And it looks like
Yes.
there's poison vapor sneaking. So you see it kind of
I do
easing
see
out of that
yeah.
thing.
That is super cool.
And if you get too close to that, you feel like it will infect your lungs to the point where every step you take, you're going to take damage that doubles every step. So for 5 feet will be 1 damage, 10 feet will be 2 damage, 15, 4, 8, 16. So like, yeah, it's going to be bad news. It's going to stop you in your tracks. So what are you going to do? How are you going to get over there without getting your lungs infected?
Okay, well, I think it sounds like if I'm going to fight it hand to hand, I'm probably going to have to take some sort of damage. So I'm going to have to use, I have 2 castings of teleport in the hand of Vecna. So I might teleport in, destroy, teleport out.
Teleport in, like, what do you get, 2 attacks or 3 attacks? What do you...
He gets 2 I could bonus action Frenzied Reckless Rage, which will give me the 3rd attack.
Yes.
And then teleport in, boom, and then get out. 3 attacks and get out of it.
All right, so let's give me some damage. Let's see what happens. How much damage can you dole out to this plant before...
Well, I could use a 4th level Divine Smite.
Definitely.
And then we'd really
full
be
on
talking.
smite it.
Oh, speaking of
Reckless attack, raging. Throw the Divine Smite in there.
There was a question about which level you were playing with currently.
What level
For
of Arkhan?
Yeah, Arkhan.
Well, this miniature that you're using has the Hand of Vecna, which means
Yeah.
it could be no less than 18, I guess. So
Let's call him 20.
So it's got to be above there. So let's go with 20.
Pull back so you can see the plan.
Okay. Let's go. That's first reckless. That's going to be a. I don't have my to hit in front of me, but I think that's probably going to be somewhere in the ballpark of like a 28 to hit, which I imagine hits a plant.
Yeah. Well, this one's it's got thick, like rubbery, stalks and stuff. So it's kind of it has like some natural armor, but nothing 28 can't handle. We lost our feed. There it is.
That's going to be 28 plus 4, 32. First one's going to be 48 points of damage.
Woo! And what's your second attack?
All right, let's see if I can muster up a. Yeah, that's going to be a hit too. That's a. Gosh, yeah, that's a natural 19. So.
Nice.
All right. That's 16. That's going to be 45.
All right, so you just churned out just under 100 points of damage to this plant in the blink of a sec.
And I had a third attack if we wanted to go there. If I
Yeah,
needed
well,
to.
it's got 3 heads, so it's got 3
Okay.
different
All right.
spores that are phasing out. I think you can. You better go all in.
Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, I think that's going to be a hit. Okay. Okay. 51.
Woo! So that puts us up to like 146 or something. I don't know. Where you're like, all right. So Arkhan teleports in, cuts off all 3 of these these steaming spore heads. This whole plant uproots this whole plant, and reveals underneath was a. Let's put the puck under there.
What were you using to smoke that out?
Check this out. So this is the new DF4 floor fogger. So it's a 4x4 fog machine that has 2 modes, continuous and intermittent. And right now it's an intermittent. That's why I was like giving little bursts. And it fits under the spore claw. We have another thing that I'm going to reveal on the show in a moment, right after this. And it fits in the volcano. If you have the Hellscape volcano, it fits in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like so that's coming. You're gonna get
cool,
2 of
man.
those in your Untamed pledge.
You're
You got 2
kidding.
of those coming your way. You're probably gonna need a
Dude,
couple more
yeah.
of those because like you're gonna want to have like 6 smoking volcanoes on your table. I know.
Oh my gosh, amazing! Yeah, that's amazing. That's super cool because all the time you see people with these crazy terrain builds, like Shad Ross and you guys, and you're like, how are you smoking this whole thing? Look, what So now the fact that you have these little mobile smokers to set up within your terrain is amazing.
Shad is a smoke master. That guy, like, he knows how to, like, he's a smoke whisperer. He can, like, make the fog go where he wants it to go. It's like, it's outrageous. Well, this is like a spot fogger. This is to put, like, have little life on your thing so you can still use your, like, floor fogger. But then this thing, I think. So
but perfect for swamplands and things like that, or little magical terrain.
Or a
That's really
volcano
cool.
or whatever. All right, so there's a Fey pool
Or
underneath.
poison gas inside of some sort of dungeon. Yeah.
Yeah, right? It's like, all right, so Arkhan has found the Fey pool. If he drinks from it, perhaps he'll be strong enough to claim the pylon for his own. Does he dare?
Oh, drink strange, crazy water. Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's do it. Yeah, I love it.
So he, he drinks the water.
But I'll drink it out of like the hand of Vecna. Like I'll scoop it up.
Oh, drink it from the
one
palm.
of those,
And like can you see the pool? Wait, lightning in the pool. The magic courses through him. He has the strength of the Fae, and now he thinks he can go take on. Look how cool Arkhan looks in a glowing pool. I mean, come on, that's.
Ooh, yeah. That one, yeah. We need to do a whole photo shoot with that mini.
Definitely.
In there.
We'll send you some cool photos. We have an even better thing for him. We'll see in a sec. All right, so now he can go to Titan's Tooth and claim the planar pylon. I'm gonna put this down here. Can you see?
Wow, I love these bridges. I love the elevation, and then I love these bridges. I love that type of terrain because I find that creates really great battle scenes when you get the players that have to brave heading out onto those platforms that could get knocked off of into whatever acid or swamp below. I love that kind of stuff.
Gandalfian bridge fights.
Yeah, it looks cool, but it also creates for a really great battle terrain.
Exactly. It's like
fun things happen.
Well, it's suddenly wildly dynamic, right? When you're here, like if something attacks you, or maybe you lose your footing, or like there's consequences to falling, and right, look at this. Look at the height of this thing. We got like so Arkhan now empowered with this thing can come and claim. Oh, except I didn't put a battery in it. Oh, this is supposed to light up, but it's got in this one you can remote control with your same remotes, and you claim the ancient power of the planar pylon. And it actually stitches the planes together. Now he can wield control over multiple planes of existence, not just the prime material.
Well, which is great because maybe I can use that to get a certain somebody out of the plane of Avernus into the Forgotten Realms or anywhere else we want to go.
Yes. So you know what we're gonna have to do? we're gonna send you a planar pylon. We'll send you this prototype of the planar pylon that Arkhan has claimed, this rare relic. You can have this very one of a kind.
You have just made Mephit Man and Shad Ross very jealous. I know that for a fact because they're texting me right now as I'm talking to you.
Well, Shad and Buddy. Wait, Buddy has 2 prototypes actually. We sent him 2 prototypes to paint up. He did a driftstone in lava, and what was the other? Oh, and he did the Titan's Tooth base. So look at this.
Yeah. It's so great. I love the elevation. That's the thing is now you can do what you've always dreamed of, which is have the elevation where you have like a riverbed, almost with like this. This like almost like Grand Canyon style river that kind of goes down between stone cliff faces, and so you can get up on the cliffs, get down below into the riverbed. You can create, like I said, you can have that big waterfall with, that has a dungeon like behind the waterfall. You could elevate it up big enough to create these big chambers in the back. There's a whole ton of cool stuff you can do.
Who doesn't want to do that, right? Like,
no,
who doesn't want to build
that's
all
what we've
these?
been waiting to do our whole lives.
It's like those scenes that Larry Elmore painted. He had these beautiful landscapes, and there's a giant dragon in front of whatever. Like, you can build that and put your giant dragon that Buddy painted right in there. It's like,
exactly.
It's gonna be amazing. All right, so let's go. So now that Arkhan has claimed the power of the planar pylon, let's go take a look at a new piece that we haven't shown over here. So let's get. It seems like appropriate because unless you don't want to, we could. We're kind of running late. We can just try to.
I think Buddy and Shad are going to kill me if I don't say yes. And of course, I want to know too. So,
Okay, fine.
So does Bubbles. Bubbles wants to know.
Yeah, Bubbles. What do you think, Bubbles? All right, so check this out.
She knows it's dinner time. That's what she's telling me.
It's always. At least my cats have they have this ability to make it seem like they've never eaten before in their entire life. Like they'll look at you like they're like, why haven't you ever fed me?
It's not food. It's like someone's ringing the heroin bell.
Yeah, and they every time, every damn day. Okay, let's see if this.
I'm the same way though. Like I can't really blame them.
All right, so check this out. Where's his camera?
It's like Nate when someone says, "Do you want to order some Domino's pizza?"
Oh,
I love pizza.
I didn't even have to say anything. I was just like, "Should we get pizza?" And from a room over, I heard Nate go, "Yeah!"
It's like
you're close enough and in the neighborhood. Do you get Roberta's?
Yeah,
all
we
the time.
Yes.
To the point where we're like almost sick of Roberta's because we get it so often.
I love Roberta's.
Oh, it's so good.
Delicious.
That's where
we have a Roberta's kitchen out here in LA, and I go all the time.
Oh.
I think we genuinely only went to Domino's because we heard about the new pizzas, and we're curious people.
You
gotta get whatever the new hamburger pizza. Or
I gotta stay on trend with the hamburger pizza and the taco pizza.
Yeah.
Both are very good, by the
try
way.
it out.
So,
not sponsored.
Can you see this guy on your
Yes.
Thing there? All right.
Yes.
So this.
Okay.
This was a fan and we've been running a Twitch stream for a Twitch channel for I don't know since February or something.
We started like mid-February,
Yeah, and we do like this behind the scenes, like sort of every week we're sort of showing, hey, here's what we're working on, here's the process, kind of like just trying to pull back the curtain and show people what it takes to like handcraft terrain and like what it's like trying to be a working artist and a working geek and all,
But I will say that you really can feel the care and the handmade quality of these pieces. Like that's one of the things that I love. They have so much personality when they're on your table. There's so much to look at, and it just enriches that environment. Like so much. There's so much like love put into these pieces. Yeah, there's soul in the pieces.
Yeah, no, we're pouring love and passion and joy and wonder and all that, all that stuff that we felt at the D&D table. We're trying to pour into these things so that when you get it and you pop it out, like your players are getting it, and we're trying to pay that forward and give you something to build on. And it really we care about every aspect of every bit of these things. It's I'm glad it shows because we work hard at it.
Yes.
So this was a piece that was inspired by someone watching the show. We were talking about some of the pieces we were working on, whatever, and they're like, hey, but you need if you've just done Hellscape and you're doing mountains, you're gonna need some way to get to connect the Hellscape to the mountains. And
some sort of transition.
Yeah, right? Like, because you want to connect the worlds, right? You don't want to just have dungeons are over here and then caves are over there and cities. You want to be able to connect it all together into one cool story. So thus, over the course of a couple of episodes and a whole bunch of foam mocks, the Oblivion Nexus was born. So it was originally about 3 times the size, and it was uncastably large. So we ended up making it. It's still a massive piece, but it was originally planned. I was like, it was outrageous. But so this is the Oblivion Nexus, which seemed like a kind of a great place for Arkhan to hang out, right? This is sort of place he would give a speech. If someone prepared certain speeches and stuff, they'd probably want to perform.
That's where you would give it. Yeah. Well, the speech to the troops, let's say. Yes, yeah. Of course.
So what's neat about this guy? So there's stone on the sides here. See, this stuff is we call Wyver stone. So this was the team trying to figure out. We wanted to do some jagged stonework on the mountains but not just have it be normal. Have it be a reason for being fantasy stone, right? So Wyver stone was born. So it's kind of crazy city.
I love those little Wyver.
Uh-oh, we lost you. No. Oh, there you go.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. You're back. Woo!
Am I here?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back.
You love Wyvers. What about Wyverstone?
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
We just see bicep.
No!
Oh, Arkhan didn't make it.
There is a poor network connection.
Oh, no.
Be back.
Well,
he'll be back.
Joe failed his tech save.
The bicep was too strong.
It was too strong for the internet.
Cutting off the Wi-Fi.
Oh man, I didn't show all the cool features.
It's gonna freeze at the best moment.
Oh. Yeah.
He didn't get to show us his room.
I know.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, our internet's fine. It looks like it's on his end. The stream hasn't cut out or anything.
Wait. What did he say?
No, he cut out.
Did he send an emoji?
No, that would be me.
Ooh, we got that. Can everybody hear that?
There we go. All right.
Oh, is he alive?
Oh.
No.
I think we lost him. Yeah.
Well,
let's
do we show people some of the Oblivion Nexus, or do we have to wait for
I mean,
Joe?
you already have it out.
We can buy time waiting for him, or I'm sure he'll be back before long.
I mean, Arkhan's just sitting here on fire. It's really a shame, all alone.
What a way to go.
So we get a little steam coming out of the top lid. Is that him or us?
That's him.
Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back.
And that's all. That's all we had to show of the Oblivion Nexus. And oh, hey.
Did the wolf get you?
That was hilarious. It was,
yeah, pardon me. I actually, so my dog was like, it's like, imagine a kid screaming they need their diaper changed.
Yep.
That's what it was like. So it was like, all right, I got to go feed her or she's going to lose her mind.
I'm familiar with that cry because I have 2 of them.
You have more than 2 employees here.
Oh, wow, look at this thing.
So, okay, so this is, I didn't realize you can see it before. Can you see it clear? I don't know if it's focused or not. I have no control. I can't see what your camera sees, so you have to let me know if you can't see anything. So this is the...
wow, so you got a smoker under there.
Yeah, so I put it on top of the fogger because, why not, right?
Yeah.
And so this is Wyver stone, which the team came up with as a way to kind of justify doing some high magic, cool, spiky rocks, which appears on all of our new drift stones. Is appearing on this thing, and it's got we've got little pegs over here, or peg holes over here, so you can connect a bridge. So if you have your suspension bridge, that wooden one from Caverns Deep, or that rocky bridge that Arkhan was crossing before, can connect there, or you can throw it up against an elevation block or whatever. Front, you got some steps. Got those wire stone. We've got a couple of little. Do I have any drift stones here? Yes. So,
I love the new drift stones too. The fact
Right?
that they work, you can flip them upside down, multi-purpose.
you've been doing your homework. Woo!
Well, I follow Buddy on Instagram, so I'm always looking at what he's doing. So
Yeah.
you releasing those new pieces to Buddy, then I wind up, seeing what's new.
So you can check this out. You've got a port there, so you can like put a. You see that platform on? I don't know if you can see it or not. Wait, is that up there? Whoop. So you can put like hovering drift stone there. So maybe Arkhan wants to do his ritual up here. Whatever, you pop that off. It's cool. We got little side. But here's where it gets good. You ready? If I can get these prototypes are. So we can also. You see, it's got little holes in the front here. So it's got a fog channel, so you can pop. Let's see if this is going to work. It may or may not work. No, I should set it on permanent. Hold on. Oh, we can sort of see it coming out there. So it comes out of the. It's got shattered wyverstone here, so you can have smoke come out the front or smoke come out the back, which is neat. We got little side, so you can have the drift stones off the sides. But here's where we get exciting.
I love that Wyvern mini that you guys made too. That's a great mini. That thing is awesome. That's what a great. That's like I love that Wyvern.
That could be Chango's girlfriend, right? Like it's.
Yeah, of course. Well, so I was using Wyverns for some of the Dragon High Lords when they escaped the Dragon High Lord when he escaped the ice castle. They flew off on all these Wyverns, so I could have used those, and those look looks fantastic.
Do you know Crystal Sully, the artist? She does monster design. She's super cool designer. So she did the concept art for this gal. It's a lady wyvern, and then Drew Williams sculpted it. It's a really we got a couple of really neat creatures. We didn't do a lot of minis, but I think the ones that we did have.
No, that's a really good one. That's going to be like a must-have for all.
And she's got a nest,
DMs.
A nest with eggs, and you can pop the eggs out. So you could, if you want to go train a wyvern or maybe griffin eggs.
Well, but you could also use that you could use it for wyverns. You could use it for
rocks,
dragon eggs. There's a lot of different
manticores, like whatever. There's there's no limit. All right. So then,
do manticores have eggs? I would think that would be a lion, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they have eggs. I was just thinking because they have wings, but no, they're definitely a mammal. Let's see, is this thing on?
I mean, there's a lot about the manticore that I have a lot of questions about in terms of how you get that
anatomy of
how you get there.
All right, so now let's get a little closer here. Can you see? I can't see what's in your camera. So, can you see the cracks of doom?
Yeah.
Up here.
Wow, that's cool.
Right. So that's kind of the place that Arkhan want to hang out. Right, and then of course, so this is using the light puck, and you can change. Oh, I still didn't. Man, I should have charged. Oh, I was gonna show you the fire. The battery's dead. It's like you charge it. So this whole thing comes off, and then you can open it up, the pit of death. Oh, you know what I can do? I can plug it in. Hang on. Mace, can you get an extension cord so I can? I'll just go in AC. So you can put your, if you've got your circle from, your Hellscape circle, you can put that in there.
Yeah.
Because that's where Arkhan wants to do evil deeds. Or you can put your summoning circle from Caverns Deep in there.
Yep.
You can put like any of your cool circular bits in there. And then you throw the light puck under there, and you can do lava or portals or magic or lightning or.
Wow. Or you can put nothing on the top, put the puck underneath, have it glow so that the players can then jump into the hole.
Yeah, it's a portal. Well, it becomes your portal to Avernus to go save somebody or let's see. Oh, can I do fire? Yes, I got it back.
I'm being told by the chat that manticores also do lay eggs.
manticores do lay eggs. That's what Chad is.
Really? Because of the dragon head, but it's a lion body that's, well, traditionally they have a scorpion tail. There's a lot going on with a manticore.
It's
There's a lot
Fantasy
to
World's
unpack.
platypus.
Is that right? That's what they're.
Can you see the? Does that look like a portal to
Yeah,
hell?
look at that. Yeah, man, that's awesome. Wow, how cool is that?
And we can just light up.
That's so cool.
Change it, make fire, make lightning.
I love it.
Yeah. So this is the Oblivion Nexus, and if we can get high enough, we're gonna throw one of these in as a stretch goal somewhere.
So what's the value on the stretch goal? What do we have to hit here to get that?
This guy we haven't revealed yet. So right now we're looking at 3 million. We're gonna put the Dwarven Light Puck and some stuff. So we'll.
Okay, so if people want the Dwarven Light Pucks, they need to tell their friends to order the Kickstarter and bump this thing up so everybody gets the Light Pucks.
And know that the Oblivion Nexus is coming. And I'm gonna give you here's another one, Joe. I'm spilling all the beans here. You're getting me drunk on geekery. So this is the this might be popping out to. Whoa, that's all we gotta see.
What?
I'll send you a photo off the stream.
Send me a photo, please.
We can't show too much because
man.
we're gonna show that tomorrow. The sculptor who worked on that is gonna be in tomorrow, but she's coming too if we can get there. Yeah, we got some fun stuff coming.
Wow.
Woo!
Wow.
Is there anything you didn't see? I think we got. Well, there's lots of. We didn't look at all the mountains.
Well, I don't know. You tell me. I mean, geez.
Yeah, that's right. We should wrap up because it is. We're running a marathon on this end. We've been streaming every single day for 20 days straight. I've been doing I did two streams yesterday. I'm gonna do it Well, we're trying to connect. We have the coolest backers in the world. And we're trying to just show them all the stuff and take all their questions and hang out with cool folks like you and just trying to be as sort of accessible and interactive as possible and just be involved and be part of get this community.
Great. Yeah, I mean it's just the integrity of the brand, like I said, the longevity of the brand, the care, the artisanship that goes into each piece. It's like each piece really truly is like a little piece of artwork that's been hand sculpted for you, and there's so much going on. And I don't know anybody who doesn't play with Dwarven Forge or aspire to get some Dwarven Forge.
Not everybody can swing it. Well, you're making me blush over here, but that's what we're going for, right? That's what we're putting we're real. This is we're passionately doing what we love and what we believe in, and we're lucky enough to have all these people who are helping us make it happen. It's crazy. We have the greatest. The Dwarven army is unstoppable.
Well, my whole life, I took a hiatus from gaming, like a lot of people did.
Yeah.
Played when I was younger, but then, high school happened, college happened, and work happened, and you move away from it. But I came back to the game a few years ago when 5e came around. And I'm telling you, like, the thing that really blew my mind was Dwarven Forge, was this idea that, wait, you mean we don't have to do the graph paper anymore? Yeah. You mean I don't even have to draw on a dry erase board anymore? Like, or on a mat? Like, I can actually I can build the dungeon, I can build the city, I can build the castle, I can build the ice cave, I can build the forest now. It just blows my mind, and it's such a fun hobby for me. Like I said, I go down in the basement, I turn on Tool or put some music on, and I just build. It's like having a workshop out in the garage. I just go down there and create some sort of story or world or whatever it is. And sometimes I create it from my own brain, and sometimes I try to take those D&D maps out and build the map.
You're still using your brain. You're still converting their stuff into yours. And it's like, well, we couldn't do it if folks like you and everybody watching wasn't supporting, wasn't believing. And Stefan had this crazy vision 24 years ago that people needed little sculpted miniature works of art, and here it is thriving. And it's pretty amazing. So I have two closing questions for you. One,
okay.
What's the one thing that we don't make yet that you really need on your table?
Nate, well, okay, so I sent you.
I know
an email.
that's a big idea. Like I'm saying, like one piece.
Do I say what that is? I mean,
Do you want to say that?
Because that's.
I say one. Just start with one piece. One piece. Save that. That's the big like. That's a big. That's a big idea. Like, what was if there was one piece?
It is a big idea. Well, I for people who don't know out there, I had this idea. I was with Stefan. We were museum hopping in Florence, Italy. Stefan and I, we were in Firenze, and we just started, Statue of David, we went to Uffizi, we went to all these different places. And I was getting ideas and inspiration for new Death Saves pieces and things like that. And so Stefan and I were talking, and I turned around and I said, I know what the next Dwarven Forge world should be. Like, I'm telling you, this would blow my... Anyway, so what I would say, if I just said one or like a little tease, I would say... deserted tropical island.
Yeah. People have been asking for sand in this,
right.
Little sand, little water, couple
so there's a whole
tropical
world.
trees. We haven't done tropical trees, so we could have some modular tropical trees.
But there's a world involved that I sent you like a detailed email, and I have like photos and things, but like that's what I think.
Do you have some speeches?
That could be a
some speeches written?
Yes, I'm going to stand on top of that little piece. I'm going to be done. I'm going to make a little mini of me, and I'm going to do the speech. No, but
wait,
so
anyway,
so that's what I would think. I would be excited for all of that because there's been so many. I think that's a way that my imagination goes, and I'd love to be able to build that out at my table.
Yeah, those places that are a little outside of. The places that are dangerous, right? A little outside of society often, like that's where the real danger often lies.
Maybe prehistoric, something like that, yeah.
So then, here's my other important question. So when we make the epic Dwarven Forge fantasy movie, do you want to play a protagonist or an antagonist? When I'm writing it, I need to know.
I want to play Stefan.
You want to play Stefan? No, this is a fantasy.
Oh, man. This is crazy. Okay. Roll initiative. All right. Yeah, I want to play Stefan. Are you kidding me?
Okay. So it's the best. I'm at a fantasy. It's a fantasy movie. It's a D&D
So I had
movie.
a blacksmith.
Yeah. Ooh.
I had a blacksmith shop in, I think it might have been Baldur's Gate that the characters went to get some weapons made. And, and the blacksmith, he talked like that, and they were like, "Wait a minute!" And they knew exactly who it was. And then I had this guy with a mohawk who came out of the back and was hammering like suits of armor. Yes, and they knew who these two characters were. So you never know. If I know you and you're a friend of mine, chances are I'm gonna put you in as an NPC in my game somewhere.
I'm happy to know that I'm a blacksmith's apprentice in Baldur's Gate somewhere. That is that warms my heart.
Yeah.
I feel like Stefan would have to be a blacksmith too because of how much he loves metal. It's natural.
Metal, heavy. He only works in heavy metals. It's all his armor weighs twice as much as it should. So if we're gonna do a fantasy, we're gonna do a fantasy film, a live action fantasy Dwarven Forge movie. Are you playing a protagonist or an antagonist? What part are we writing for you? That's
Oh boy, I think I'll go protagonist.
Okay.
I think enough people have, they know me as Arkhan, and he's a little complicated. Nice protagonist would be great. Maybe like someone that could change people's minds about paladins, because I think people think paladins are lame and goody two shoes, and I want to play a paladin like an old West sheriff, like Wyatt Earp, like some badass sheriff dude who's rough and tumble.
Here's the pitch, right? It's D&D meets Taken. So it's the paladin whose like son is dragged down to Avernus, and he's got to go kick the door down to hell. He's a retired paladin, like 20th level retired paladin. His son gets seduced by a succubus, pulled down to hell. And he's like, okay, I'm going down there and I'm getting my son back. And he has to dust off the old Holy Avenger and fight his way down to hell to get his son back. Right? It's like Taken.
Yes.
You'd be great for that, right?
Yes. I have a very particular set of multi-classing skills. I will find you and I will kill you. Yes.
So good. Uh, well, Joe, thank you so much for all your support over the years, and thanks for hanging out, and thanks for pushing geekery to the masses, and just being awesome.
Hey, I know quality, okay? And when I saw the Dwarven Forge product, immediately I just said to myself, this is next level, and I need to go hunt down as much of this stuff as I possibly can. I need it to take my gaming to the next level. And all my players appreciate what you do and supply everyone with. It's really man, it's been so much fun to follow the company and be a part of it. And get to know you guys. You guys are awesome. I love what you do. Keep doing what you do. Don't ever stop doing what you're doing. It's amazing.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We won't, as long as we've got the supportive folks like you. And thank you for everybody that's watching. Thank you guys. You're letting us do this, and we're going to keep doing it. And we'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. And then what's the day after that? Monday and
then
Tuesday.
We're back at 7 p.m. with some painting.
Stefan's game is Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. And then we wrap it up on Wednesday. So tell your friends, because spread the word. Joe, tweet about it on the internet. Tell everybody to get some wyverns and some foggers and whatnot. And thanks for hanging out with us.
Awesome.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Woo!